The battle against breast cancer. I'm Lisa Allegas, and you're watching Newsmakers. In this edition, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It happens every October, but the reality of a breast cancer diagnosis impacts women year-round, as 1 in 8 women will now get breast cancer. In 2024, it's estimated there will be more than 310,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer. That number does not include recurring cases. More than 42,000 could die from the disease, but there is hope, especially when a diagnosis is in the early stages. That happens through early detection. Today, we will visit with the Hope for You Foundation about its efforts to provide screenings and with members of an MSSU sorority who make the search for a cure its philanthropy mission. We begin our conversation with Hope for You President and breast cancer survivor Sharon Clark, survivor and board member Suzanne Hull, and board member Brenly McPherson-Berge. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So breast cancer has, the rates, cancer survival rates can be 98 to 100% for those getting detected in stage 1. So there is hope, even as your name would denote. Let's talk about the stages of cancer, what that can mean, and when a woman is diagnosed. So I don't know who wants to jump in first, but like stage 1 is really early.
It is. What I want to tell you is that the previous president was 26 years old. She did not go to the doctor soon enough, and she lost her battle. So it's very important, the early detection, and I think that's where we come in as a group with our fundraising. So I'm going to let Suzanne talk about the different stages.
So what do we know when we say, stage 1, it's maybe a speck on a mammogram?
Correct. There's stage 1 through 4. And depending on when they're diagnosed will determine the treatment plan. And then there's also those of us, like myself, who I am BRCA2 positive, and through genetic testing, because my mother had breast cancer, I found out that I had an 87% chance of having breast cancer. So I actually had everything taken care of prior to being diagnosed.
And that's kind of a bold thing to do.
It was a smart thing to do. I didn't want to look over my shoulder to see, if cancer was going to, catch up to me. So, yeah.
So are there a lot of women who now are learning that through
Correct.
this kind of, through that early testing?
Mm-hmm. Yes, our son also has the mutated BRCA2 gene. And so he already has a treatment plan in place. So it's genetically driven as well.
Mm-hmm. So, and that is important to mention that men can get breast cancer too, certainly not in the numbers that women do, because hormones do have a role in all of this. And then if someone is diagnosed later, the chances of survival do decrease, even though we do have more and more treatments now. So tell us, you told us your story. Brenly, you're one of those, you're a board member who doesn't necessarily you personally have not experienced breast cancer. Why then be involved? Why is it important to you?
Correct. I have not. I am thankful, but that doesn't mean that I won't be one of those numbers. I am only 27 years old, but like Sharon said, we had a president who's 26 that was diagnosed and lost her battle. There's more and more people that I'm actually seeing that are closer to my age that are getting diagnosed. And one of the scary things is, you're not supposed to get a mammogram until later in life.
40.
Yeah. 40. So that's why, we preach self-exams, self-exams, self-exams. Always be checking. I just have a passion for it now because I have seen how it affects people. And while I haven't been affected personally, I know people who have, and I want to help prevent people from finding it too late.
What do we know from, you work with a lot of the different hospitals. So talk to us about your mission and how you try to help them and get women who might not get a mammogram, because a routine mammogram is why some people discover it. And yes, it isn't required until you're 40. So a self-exam might denote something, but then you may not be covered by insurance and you might need help getting that mammogram.
True.
Do you guys help in those cases too?
And what I like to talk about when I meet with groups is if you're a single parent, which I have been, and you have a choice of paying for a mammogram or feeding your child, you're going to choose to feed your child. And I think that's where all of our hard work comes in, and the people that raise money for us. If a woman doesn't have, a man or woman doesn't have insurance and they need help, there's people they can go to at the hospital and say, I need a mammogram. And they have, we just don't pay for them, but a doctor refers them to get a mammogram because the doctor felt something, or the woman, and then the money is given to the hospital to pay for that mammogram.
How important is it, I mean, to know, like, most insurance companies, do they cover mammograms? And should women know that, like, hey, if you have insurance, you definitely need to get this test too?
It's a battle if you're under 40. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened to the previous president. She wasn't 40,
Yep.
which sucks because I've had cancer twice and I wasn't 40, wasn't even close to 40.
So maybe there needs to be some advocacy to change that age?
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely, especially in this day and age. Like I said, I see more and more people that are closer to my age that are getting diagnosed. We have a close family friend that just got diagnosed, and she's only 29, and now she's battling all this. The financial battle that she's facing at this age is just, it's so difficult. So I do think there needs to be a change when it comes to that, absolutely.
And it's not just the person going through breast cancer that's a victim. It's their
family.
spouse, their friends, their family. They're all victims. And I like to end a lot of my speeches with, let's make everyone a survivor and not a victim.
So Hope for You stands for help, outreach, prevent, and educate. We got our statistics from the Susan G. Komen for the Cure site, but the charity doesn't necessarily have a presence in our area, so you fill a definite need and gap. So what are some of the areas and counties where you help women?
One of you ladies want to
Yeah,
answer?
I
I've
mean,
been talking.
the whole 4-state area. I mean, we go as far as into Kansas. We've helped with the hospitals, donated to hospitals there, Neosho, obviously Jasper County.
Even Northeast Oklahoma.
Yes, absolutely. So it's not just in this specific area. We do donate the money that we raise to the whole 4-state area. We want to reach as many people as we can. We want to have that presence here. And to date, we have almost raised $700,000 to help women get mammograms whenever they wouldn't be able to afford it
So you don't have a
otherwise.
specific number of how many you've helped, but you know that money's out there.
Correct.
Making a
Yes.
difference.
Yeah.
So, and is it hard? Is it hard not knowing that? Would it be nice to know, like, oh, I want to know how many women we helped here and how many women we helped there?
Well, they have to report to us how many, which I don't have those numbers with me. We never get names, but each hospital we donate to, they have to report to us at the end of the year, this is how many people we helped.
Okay. So, do you get some of the stories of the people you've helped? Do you ever get any feedback? Is that
We do
hard
not.
too?
It's okay because we know
Yeah.
we're helping them. I mean, just to have the presence, and something else that's important to know about Hope for You, our board, is that we're all volunteers. There's no paid positions. You know, every dollar that we raise goes to help somebody in need. And so that's really our mission in
And
life.
to get the word out.
Yes.
Let's say you're 41, you haven't even thought of a mammogram. Well, guess what? You hear Hope for You, we're preaching mammograms. Oh, I need to go get one. You go get one, and they find something. It's possible we saved your life by just being a presence.
Right.
And Brinley has been a part of this a long time, not as a board member, but Carl Junction High School volleyball program was the first local school that did a pink game. Brinley was a player at the time, and her mom was one of the mothers that put it all together, and it was over $10,000 they raised their first year.
Yep.
And so you've done a number of games with Missouri Southern year after year, which is great. And we have the big football game just recently. And so, but as a survivor, do you think women who've experienced breast cancer feel called to support others?
Definitely.
I mean, the
I don't-
sisterhood.
I don't think I would be as passionate about it if I hadn't been a survivor, because I know I could have been a victim. But
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. I mean, until you experience it, whether it's a family member, a close friend, or yourself, I don't think people really understand the impact it has on the lives of those people and their families and friends. And so you just want to help them all, whatever it takes. So.
and if we save one life, it's worth every volunteer hour we put in.
Yeah. So you have the big Race for You coming up October 20th.
Yes.
So tell us about this. I mean, race, walk. How can people get involved? They can do any number of things. It isn't all, you don't have to be a runner.
No,
No.
you don't. You don't.
Okay, so the race is a 5K. You can walk or run that 5K. There's also a 1-mile survivor walk that's very moving.
Very.
And we have a lot of corporate sponsors, but Rufus Racing, they are putting it all together. So I'm sure you can find it on possibly their website, and then on our website.
There's a link.
There's a link. And then there's also flyers being passed around the community as well.
So it's not just about raising funds, though, is it? I mean, because you have that survivor walk. Tell us a little bit why you want to have that, why it's important to recognize those people who've gone through breast cancer.
Because they've gone to hell and back. I mean,
and I think it's important, I mean, as speaking from somebody who, like we've mentioned, hasn't been through that yet, sometimes you don't realize how many of your constituents have been through that battle, because a lot of people put on a brave face and they go about their lives because they have to. So being able to just stand there and see all of these survivors, I mean, I'm getting chills just even thinking about it. So it's so moving to see, and you're so proud of this community for coming together and supporting one another.
And is that a key to the hope factor? Like, okay, they made it.
yes.
Does it make a big difference to maybe somebody who's currently battling it to go, okay, like connecting with those other survivors, is that important?
It is very important. In fact, the former president, it was important to her to have a group called Surviving Together. It's breast cancer survivors only, or people going through breast cancer. We try to meet 4 times a year, and Hope for You supports that.
So we mentioned a little bit about some of the pink games you had, like Carl Junction. How important are those kind of things as fundraisers for you?
It's very important because, like Suzanne said, everyone on our board has a full-time job except for one individual. And so we don't have time to go out and knock on people's doors. Hey, would you donate to Hope for You? And Sarah Wall got this going, and so other schools are jumping on board, and Brindley every spring prepares letters to go to I don't know how many local schools, asking them if they would consider donating to us.
And a lot of them don't even know about Hope for
Yes.
You even. So it's important for us to continue to build on that and show other schools like, hey, I mean, even $1 raised is going to help somebody. So
It all adds up.
It all adds up, and it's so important, and we're just so thankful that people will take the time out of their schedules to help us do this and raise money for such a great cause. And even just our presence at those games and saying our names gets that out there, and people are like, oh, well, what do you do? It starts that conversation. It starts that conversation of early detection and self-exams and everything that we preach continually.
And the money stays local. And that's very
Absolutely.
important, helping local women. So
Exactly.
thank you for all you do, and thank you for sharing this. Hope we can raise some awareness through this episode. Thank you
We
all.
hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, leaders of the MSSU sorority Zeta Tau Alpha about their breast cancer education and awareness mission. Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we shine a light on groups supporting breast cancer awareness. Here on the MSSU campus, one of those groups is the women's fraternity, Zeta Tau Alpha. Joining us now are Ashlyn Patrick, the Zeta Vice President of Programming and Finance, and Emily Beiser, Vice President of Administration. Ladies, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
So breast cancer is a big focus of your group and has been part of the national Zeta philanthropy for 25 years. Now, part of that is education. So is that focused on your members, the public? Tell us about your educational mission.
So our educational mission, I would say it's focused towards the public, but especially towards our members, because as you mentioned, not only are we about awareness, but also education. So I think it's really important for our members to be as educated and knowledgeable as possible, whether that just be about breast cancer in general or about what to say to survivors. Then we're able to educate the public from there. It kind of creates like a ripple effect, and we can just keep educating more and more people.
And so you guys try to have a presence at games and events, but there's also on the website, the national website, there's a pink ribbon campaign. So tell us about that, and what is that national effort?
So the pink ribbon campaign, it's really simple. The national symbol for breast cancer awareness is the pink ribbon. So we have little ribbons that we wear on our shirts. You'll see one from Chloe later. And we just like to pass those out at games or whatever event we're at, I guess, and wear those ourselves just to spread awareness for breast cancer. And yeah, kind of shed light towards our national foundation.
Okay, so then you were at homecoming and you fundraised. So how are those donations used, Emily?
So our donations, we send all of our money back to the Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation, and every biennium, every 2 years at convention, they announce what the money is going to be used for. So I actually got the opportunity to go to convention and learn this past summer, and Zeta Tau Alpha is fully funding using AI to, for early detection. That is fully funded by the Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation, and then a partially funded study is using mammogram screening or data to further understand how cancer grows. Mm-hmm. And then another portion of what our money is used for, this year 448 Zetas, including Ashlyn, got a scholarship from the Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation. So for both of those, it was $1.25 million each, bringing the total for the last 2 years raised to $2.5 million.
That's amazing. So, and it's a national effort, but that connects you to women in other places as well. So the Zeta website mentions serving the local community. What are some of the local service projects that you're doing to meet community needs or to raise awareness in the community?
So not only do we do stuff with our philanthropy, which is the breast cancer awareness and education, we like to participate in other community events as well. So every November we do our turkey deboning with the Salvation Army, and it's actually so much fun. We just get in there and we debone turkeys. So, it's kind of nasty, but we really get into it. We love it.
We hold the record.
Yes, we have a competition with ourselves every year to see if we can get faster and faster. And as our organization grows too, we have a lot more hands on deck. So we love that. What other service projects do we do?
We write cards for nursing homes, just like Happy Valentine's Day, Merry Christmas, like keeping them in our thoughts because not everyone has a family, so we want to support them. Mm-hmm. We also have a community highway cleanup, which is on Newman Road, right in between campus.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you guys are going to be taking part in the Race for Hope in some way.
Yes.
So what are you going to be doing there?
We just plan to go and lend a helping hand wherever they need us. We've volunteered or partnered with Hope for You in the Race for Hope before, and we just showed up early kind of to set up whatever they needed us to do and then pass out waters at the end of the race. We also have some of our members wanting to actually participate in the race, which is super fun for us as well.
So why do you think breast cancer is a good mission for this group?
So it's obviously our national philanthropy, and I think that's just really great. As a women's fraternity, we always are looking to support other women, lift other women up, and part of that is, with the breast cancer awareness, it affects mainly women. It can affect men too, though, which is important to highlight, but it's just really important for us to get that message out there, raise more awareness, because it does affect women primarily.
And do you guys have a personal connection? Because many of us do.
Yes, so my aunt actually was diagnosed with breast cancer. She actually overcame it, beat it, which is really great. But during the time, it was a little scary because breast cancer can be hereditary or is hereditary. So it can affect if you have a family member that has breast cancer, it can also affect you as well. So that really kind of got me more looking into what breast cancer was, how it can affect you, and how you can kind of, do early, detect it early, because that's really the key in battling breast cancer. But yeah, whenever I joined Zeta Tau Alpha as well, I knew that the philanthropy was breast cancer awareness, and so it was really nice to be able to have that connection.
Yeah, and we are learning more and more that there are younger women who are getting it. So do you make that part of your education with the women in there about, hey, we need to talk self-exam and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're always at every community event, talking 1 in 8 women get diagnosed with breast cancer, and we will stop until that's none in 8. But how early detection, doing your self-screening, going to the doctor if you notice anything, we're always trying to push taking care of yourself first and foremost.
Yeah. So you had the football game in November during Thanksgiving. Any other November events coming up?
We really hit breast cancer hard in October, just with the football game. We try to raise money at the game, maybe do a raffle, just whatever we choose to do. We also at the Pink Out game partner with Kappa Sigma?
Yes.
Okay. Passing out Pink Out shirts just to, again, raise awareness. And then we have other events that we do during basketball season, and we try to hit that hard then as well.
Yeah, all money that we get for the T-shirts that isn't used for the cost of them goes back to Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for all you do. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will talk with other Zeta Tau Alpha members about their role in fundraising and their personal connections with breast cancer. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsmakers. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and with the odds 1 in 8 women of all ages need to be concerned. We are joined by members of Zeta Tau Alpha and MSSU fraternity, women's fraternity, whose national philanthropy is breast cancer education and awareness. Joining us is Zeta Philanthropy Chair Chloe Apps and Malin Moreland, Special Events Chair. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome. Hi.
So I tripped over it because I wanted to call you guys a sorority, but it is a women's fraternity. So Chloe, explain what makes that different.
The difference is really a women's fraternity. A fraternity is like created in itself. Usually sororities are have the help of maybe a male fraternity or some other fraternity to help get them started. But Zeta Tau Alpha was founded by women for women on its own in Virginia, actually.
Yeah, it's like the title of fraternity, which is neat. Why did you join? Because breast cancer awareness did make a difference to you.
It did. As a freshman, I wanted to get myself involved on campus, and I just thought about going Greek. And so I was looking at the amazing women's fraternity and sorority that we do have on campus. They're both amazing. But I saw that Zeta Tau Alpha's philanthropy was breast cancer awareness, and that just really spoke out to me with my personal ties. And I just thought it was my calling, and I just knew that I had to rush Zeta, and here we are.
Yeah. So Malin, why did you want to be involved in the Zetas, and what do you think about this as a cause for your group?
So in 2020, my aunt was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and it opened my eyes that this can happen to anyone in any's family. So when I was deciding to rush with sorority, I saw that Zeta Tau Alpha was breast cancer awareness, and I wanted to educate myself as well as educate my peers on my campus about how common it is and the importance of self-examinations and getting your yearly screenings.
Is that the important message for, women your age? Because a lot of people do think, oh, it's for people who are older. Why is it important that your age group focuses on this?
Because just for like me, since my aunt has it, it can be hereditary, so it's important to educate them about early screenings and because early diagnosis can help easily survive it.
Yeah. And is part of your group's mission then to talk about breast self-examination? It is kind of a weird topic. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. But is it something you feel is important to have that kind of open conversation?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is an important conversation to have because, as we see, it's very common. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer. So being able to tell girls our age and even some of the males our age, this is a real thing. You need to be informed. It's never too early to become informed. And even though self-examination is a weird topic, like you need to talk about those things. And you need to learn how to self-examine yourself and where to get testing and screening done.
So we talked a little bit about pink games and things, events that you've been at, but you also do some kind of letter writing campaign. Talk to us about that.
It's Girls Love Mail. So our philanthropy night during Rush Week, we decided to write letters to people who are battling breast cancer or those who have maybe beaten breast cancer. We write letters to them and they get sent off and then they are distributed across the country.
That's neat. What do you think of being involved in something? Why do you think it's so important for students to be involved in philanthropy, even in general, even if it wasn't breast cancer? Why do you think is it good for you to be part of that?
I think it's very important because in college you're still developing and you're still like navigating yourself through the world. So getting involved in something does like it also like impacts your growth, but also like informs you about these other things that can happen. So like even if you don't want to be in a sorority or fraternity, there's other clubs that have philanthropies, like the Humane Society. Their philanthropy is to help go to humane societies and care for the animals, as well as educate the community about these animals that need love too. So it's just important to like have those steps and inform yourself that these things do happen in the real world.
Yeah. Chloe, talk to us about, I mean, why is philanthropy a good thing, do you think, for students? Does it help you kind of not be so introspective? I mean, it give you maybe more of a worldview?
I think philanthropy is very important for people our age, just because, like, kind of like what Melinda said, it just kind of gets you involved in your community and giving back to your community. I know my community's given me so much. It's given me my sisters. So I just always want to give back to the community. You don't have, like Melinda said, you don't have to join, you don't have to go Greek to give back. Even though we all have our philanthropies that we all support in, like KA and KSIG, they all support the military, and ASA teams up with the Lafayette House in Joplin to raise awareness for like sexual assault awareness. So these are all really strong philanthropies that you can get involved in, and they'll host things on campus so you don't have to join if you even just want to go out to support to give back to the community.
Well, breast cancer awareness is all month long in October. How can somebody get one of your ribbons?
You're
wearing, so.
I am wearing one. We do get to order them, so we'll get some in, I think, from like National Council, and we had a whole basket of them at Third Thursday last year, and it was really impactful to give all of them away. We didn't have any ribbons by the end of the night, and people were asking us for some, and we're like, we don't have any more, so we were giving them ours. It's just kind of really impactful just to see those like little ribbons that you get to give out. We're gonna order some more. We're gonna give them out hopefully at the basketball games here coming up in the next year, in the next semester. So if you're at the basketball games and you see our table, just come ask for us for some, and we'll hand them out to you.
All right, well, great work, great efforts, ladies, and congratulations on all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. To all women and men, breast cancer is most treatable when detected early. So be sure to do regular self-checks, get mammograms as your doctor prescribes, and be alert to visual changes in your breast. And if you can, support the efforts of these charities working to make sure all have access to necessary screenings. I'm Lisa Allegas. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching.